Hanging out, just another night of the week. Go to be more specific, it's a Tuesday. He's got some ideas that just might intrigue. You should come on by tonight. We're spilling the beans.
It did because I didn't have it muted. That was my fault. Sorry.
One more go.
Hanging out, just another night of the week.
It's all
Go
part
to
of the
be
charm.
more specific, it's a Tuesday. He's got some ideas that just might intrigue. You should come on by tonight. We're spilling the beans.
All right.
Do we have the chat?
I'm working.
Oh, sorry.
So I think
Oh, there it is. Found
Kaylee's
it.
pulling it up. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Spilling the Beans. I had some question marks for those who are joining on the chat. We weren't quite sure, but I adjusted. So we are talking. Abel mentioned some quirky channels, YouTube channels, and then we started discussing all kinds of things. So kind of a fun thing. And then, and as the title says, and more. So we'll, as we usually do, most likely digress from the topic. But at least to kick us off, Abel, what was the inspiration to the idea for the quirky YouTube channel?
Yeah, so I was scrolling through YouTube, which is more often than not a crapshoot, but I found this channel. I found this channel that is called the Cart Narc, and
Cart
Narc.
Narc.
And so what this guy does is he has a megaphone.
Mhm.
He has like a light up wand, and he has these magnets, and he runs around in random parking lots, and he basically tries to call out people who aren't returning their carts to the cart stations.
Right. The carousels, is
Like-
that what they're called?
Is that what they're called?
I think so.
Yeah.
Carousels. And it's really funny. It's really great.
Mhm.
And I guess I'll go into a little bit of what he does. But he basically corral.
It's a corral. Yeah.
So he basically will throw a magnet on their car.
Mhm.
It says Lazy Bones.
Lazy yeah.
And then he'll call them out on the megaphone and wave the wand around like you didn't return your car. You're
Yep.
being a lazy bones, whatever. And then the people will get out. Like I would say like 95% of the time they're rip shit and they're yelling at him and they'll go get the magnet. They almost all do the same thing and they'll throw it at him.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll go back in their car. And so what he does is he puts another magnet. He has like a whole bag of magnets and he just keeps putting them on their car until they return their card or drive off with the Lazy Bones magnet on their car.
Mhm.
And it just got me thinking, like, you can do just about anything with a YouTube channel if you like get it out of your head that you need to trend.
Yeah.
Right. And you could use that as such a creative outlet.
So we were saying stay away from chasing the algorithm.
Yeah. Like
Mhm.
if you just commit to not chasing the algorithm
And being a YouTuber.
to gathering your subscribers in a different way,
Mm-hmm.
promoting on your website or maybe on an Instagram or something, and just promoting it in your own way and letting it grow kind of organically through your own way of promoting. You can do just about anything.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be fun to maybe think of some things, maybe hash out some things you could do creatively with a YouTube channel that without any of that thought process in your mind of needing to trend or anything.
Well, like you said, it can just be basically a website,
It
right?
could be,
Your
yeah.
like front display for a shop, you
Yeah,
know,
right.
and links and whatnot to a more basic site or straight
Mhm.
to your, let's say, you know, shop, like your online website.
Right.
But if you have videos to back it up, any kind of visual, so kind of like advertisements in a sense, but yeah, you can also send, it's just a link, right? That's all it is. You
That's
just
it.
send a link and you have your videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's I mean, it's a new medium. It's kind of like a canvas,
Yeah.
you know, making videos. It's been like super popular ever since one could, but you can really utilize it and get creative with it too. Especially now with such high competition, if you just try to stay out of the competition, do more or less what we're doing, which is, you know, send it to family, friends, bleeds outside of that circle, and maybe it gets some traction. But if that's not your end goal is to like make something, some kind of production, you know, especially if it's for a product that you make.
Like Kaylee, you have one with Sally Squats, right?
Yeah. You
Oh,
wanna
yeah,
talk
with
about
the-
that a little
Great
bit?
channel.
Yeah, the Sally Squat series. And I don't really like promote that or put like hashtags on it or anything to like draw people to it. It's
Yeah.
just kind of I send like the link to it to people that I think like might enjoy it kind of thing.
It's an outlet.
Yeah, it's really just an outlet, and
Yeah.
that's the most friendly, like YouTube is the most friendly kind of platform
Mhm.
for that outlet.
Yeah.
Another thing that I always thought would be fun is like doing like something like a news channel, but like it's not really news. It's like kind of like local news, but like even like kind of like almost like boring things like the Cumberland Farms ran out of Poland Springs today, or like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, just like really
like the Warren Times,
like the Warren Times, you
but
know,
like a news channel. That's the
Yeah,
Warren
like
Times.
along the there's this spot along the bike path that they don't cut the grass for some reason. There's just this one patch. Why don't they cut the grass there? Like, it's just that's something that really I can't stop thinking about for some reason. I don't know if you've seen that before, but like right across from the main building,
Yeah.
there's this one sliver
Oh yeah.
that like they just
They
always
just let it
and I'm
grow
like,
to, like-
does the town just not own that piece of land? Like,
Yeah.
these are the questions we want to ask.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
That's a
they're
great
getting me
idea.
excited.
Yeah.
Right?
That's for darn sure. I'm
The
really
Warren News.
really
I
excited.
feel like we could start that. I feel like we
Yeah.
could-
There's people that do it on Instagram. Like there's a guy like about Warren or something Warren that he just like
Yeah,
posts random
like
things.
pictures of old. Yeah.
Yeah, but he like promotes a lot of things. Like, I want to know about that patch of grass and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
who's leaving the dog crap
Yeah.
like along the bike path, and
What's up, Warren? That's what.
that's
Sure.
what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. What's
Yeah.
up, Warren?
Thanks, Shelby. Yeah, that's a cool idea.
I think it would be great too if we had like on that note, if we just got, even if it's like old equipment, like a lot of equipment, like, you know, big cameras, even if it's like old outdated stuff,
Mhm.
lights, all that stuff, to like showcase, like we just show up there with like a news van
That
and
would be
film
hilarious.
like it'd be a great way to promote it, because it would be like this huge spectacle
Yeah.
at that place.
Yeah.
And then there, all the people being like, what's going on over there? You know, that's when we're like, we're just doing, what Warrenites,
We can even-
we're speaking on behalf of Warrenites, and what
We can even, like, you could
who
do-
left this poop here? You know,
You could even do like
We're gonna take
you can do like
samples.
interviews with people.
yep,
And say,
interviews
like-
with people.
Like, what do
if
you what do you think about this patch of grass that's never cut? And they'll,
Mhm.
some guy might say like, I don't really fucking care. I have no idea. I didn't even notice it until you mentioned it. But I guess, who knows? Especially not staged. That'd be all right. But yeah, that's a really fun one.
Yeah, Shelby brought up the Turtles party wagon. Wouldn't it be crazy if
The
like we had
Warner.
like a minivan
Yeah.
that we like spray painted like a news thing, and then we could, I feel like you can find like DirecTV satellite dishes like everywhere, and we just mounted them on the top
Oh
of
my
the
God.
van.
Yeah.
You know?
They don't do anything.
Yeah, they don't do anything, but they look like they do.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
You know?
That'd be great.
We could be in like a rush too, like as if it's like breaking news.
Yeah, it'd have to be this whole performance.
You
of,
could
like-
even you can make it legit. You could have like a hotline. Like you could
Yeah,
put up all over
hotline.
town. Like
Mhm.
you could say like, let us know of anything, like caps, anything. And then we just feed like fish through like, what if something serious comes up, like
Yeah.
something weird, you never know.
We can have all the mayors and whoever's in charge of this town.
So it's
all
like your
pissed
own little,
off. Yeah.
like, so it's becoming almost like a real news station.
Mhm.
But this is what we were talking about outside too, is like it's the same idea as public access, you know, pirate radio in the sense, you know, but the idea of like a broadcast, you know,
Right.
that's what YouTube really is become. It's like anybody can broadcast anything,
Yeah.
you know, and it's, you know, I'm sure like most of it is who knows what, it's anything, but I mean, something small like that, local, you
Mm.
know, and if it's well done,
Mm.
that's, I think a lot of times too is how it gains traction. It's well done, consistent, you know, maybe that picks up speed, and then someone's like, oh, we should do other states or something like that, you know, or
Mhm.
there should, like, you had this idea where the channel, it could be the same show. So like, we have our hours that started here in Bristol Warren area or something like that, but then someone in the state is like, oh, Warwick. And then so that's going to get a lot of Warwick people going to the channel,
Mm.
not even like looking at any other town, you know, situations.
Mm.
But then outside of that, we can have other like syndicates in other like cities and states.
Like a network
Exactly.
Mhm.
And it would just
of
be,
people creating these.
it's like
news.
it's one channel, but it's everywhere and it's completely free.
Mhm.
You know, you could do that on YouTube. And you will eventually, like, you'll just, if it gains popularity, wash over algorithms. You don't have to worry about algorithm or
Yeah.
anything like
No.
that.
Yeah.
But again, if you stay humble, I think, and the idea is not to become maybe this YouTuber or anything like
not to-
that. You're not
you're
in
not
this
gonna-
competition. You're making something
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
It's a show that you do want other people to see and that you want to do. But I think that's not so, that's become like almost, and there are plenty of great channels. There really are. But at least on the mainstream, something that you don't see, like this humbleness, you know, to, if that's a word, or
Humility.
this humility, yeah,
Mm.
to something, and maybe humility doesn't sell, but I mean, it can, if what it's backing is good, something like
Fun.
that, yeah, is fun, and everybody just likes it, especially that.
Yeah.
Like a random free, like, speak out, like, on newspapers.
Mhm.
Goodwin and I used to love, and we all still do, like, love reading the speak out sometimes. But imagine speak out that wasn't vetted, like you could actually get people cursing and saying like, oh, fuck that guy, you know, this or that or whatever, you know what I mean? And there is no return, there's no reply, so that you don't get fighting like you would on
Right.
comments or on like comment sections for anything.
Mhm.
It's you know, it's just opinion, it's just completely opinion, and it's unfiltered.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome, something like that. So
A great way to promote, like if we were to do like the news thing too,
mhm.
a great way to also promote it. Like now I'm thinking about ways to like promote something like that. If you know how they have like town hall meetings and they're like on like public access, you could bring these topics that you're covering up
At the town
at the
hall.
town hall meetings.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You would
Mhm.
have, I mean, legally, you would have
Every right.
yeah, to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did the smoke shop on Main Street have to take the bongs down?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
bong signage down.
Oh man, you could
Imagine
cause
starting
so much
like,
like chaos.
imagine
and,
starting
like,
a news like story, like it's just a shot, like a handheld like news like camera shot of bongs in the window, and the first thing you say is bongs. You know, there's
Yeah.
this shop downtown Warren that had, it was a smoke shop, but it just had a awesome, like super awesome neon sign that just said bongs.
Yeah.
It was huge, and I was like, and it's really I love it. I thought it was like so funny. It was just I mean, just bongs, you know, like there's nothing subtle about that, right?
No.
And that's brilliant. It was probably by complaint, which
Yeah.
is great. I'd love to get the audio of those complaints
Yeah.
for that sign
What's
from
the
the town.
story there? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you
So good.
leave a number or something for people to call and complain to,
Oh, that's
and you
great.
could get
Separate phone.
yeah, exactly. And
voicemails,
I have a
Mhm.
play
separate
'em.
phone. I have a completely
Love it.
separate phone,
Love it.
and you'd have to take the time to listen, but it'd be so fun to listen to. You listen to them we could
Oh,
have
yeah.
we could have our own session of listening to them on the Sunday, and then on whenever the day is that we talk about them or play them back, and people will want them to be played back. They'll be like, yeah, I want this on there. And so we would filter them. I mean, there'd be too many, or we could just post. If there was a way to just post it, it's like, oh, this is going on. But you could also, I mean, you have to be careful of what people are saying.
I mean, yeah,
things
I
like
mean,
that.
like I'm a sucker for like old public access call-in
Right.
shows. Like I play compilations of that. Like I could play them for hours.
Yeah.
Of just people calling in, you know, and just like there's like, you know, some political issue and like, okay, we have a caller. He wants to talk about, you know, how he feels about gun control and da 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 da. And just some kid comes up and he's like, "Fuck you!"
Yeah,
you know, like,
right.
It's so funny to me, and I think like that would be awesome. I've had this thought similar to what you were talking about the newscasters, but I've always had this like thought in my brain of like newscasters that are like constantly bickering with each other. Because like I watch a lot of like news,
like legitimately outside of the facade of what they're doing, like right there.
Like just, you know, like I watch a lot of like newscasts, like freakouts.
Yeah, I've fallen down those rabbit holes a few times. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And like, wouldn't it be funny if like the anchors that were in the studio just like really had contempt for each other, and they were always like taking like jabs at one another, you know, and
like acted out, like that's scripted, right?
Yeah.
So now we're talking about it. It would be like a mix of like reality, and like some kind of weird facade, well, real scripted like situation between. Yeah, that's another level of like.
Oh, there's so many bits you could have with that. Like you could run wild with that. Like I really think I think we should do this.
Yeah, that's like news broadcast show.
I really do. I mean, we got a lot of old cameras.
You know what's fun too is like
that camera's hilarious. That's like robotic, right? That one.
Yeah, that's a PTZ. Yeah.
Just like cameras like moving
just
around.
Pan tilt zoom. Yeah, basic camera.
I think we could with these big lights over here.
That old monitor camera too.
And also a ton of stuff is done on green screen. Like sets can be green screened.
Oh, we could do really silly green screens
and they're not that well done. They're not that well made green screens either. Like, so you can add like a whole room. It looks like a whole room is behind us.
Yeah.
And you still see like shitty parts of it, but they do that on or like a window with like clouds going by. They do that on news all the time. And so I mean, there's so many things we could do with that. And building the sets, you know, we've talked about, it's bringing a lot of things together. Props, sets. It's bringing together the idea of that reality, that horror reality TV show you had. You know what I mean? Where like every now and then, it's like around Halloween we do a special like that, and someone just dies every like it's that episode once a year for that news broadcast or something. You know what I mean? Or just that's an idea, but like so. The avenues and things you do, and then you have your set, and then you have your green screening, your matting. You know, there's so many fun things. So I mean, really, it's kind of turning into Jamar. What's up? It's turning into different ideas for like mock or some semi mock, like news broadcasts or news stations.
If there was like a weather segment too, and then like instead of like the weather, they're like, pretty nice out, or like, you know, like shitty out today. But like that's it.
Like the David Lynch weather.
Yeah.
It's sunny today in California, 70 degrees. Don't need your sweater.
It'd be neat if you could also go into like, you could even have a character that that has like fake, you know, the almanac. Or like different things, say like, what's a famous thing, like red skies at night, sailors delight, red skies in morning, sailors take warning. You have fake ones though, and so it's just a guy that like
predicts the weather not based
by throwing
on
grass
radar,
in the
but
exactly
predicts the weather based on like
he throws a
where
snail
the sun
that he
is
finds
compared to the moon and stuff.
I was thinking he finds it, maybe the guy like finds a snail on the ground and he like picks it up and he just like hucks it into like nowhere, you know what I mean, or something like that. And
Yeah.
he says it curved. He says we've got some real terrible weather coming
yeah.
in the next.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Something like
So
that.
good.
Or no, he says like I heard the snail scream.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you hear a whistle, that's it screaming.
Yeah.
And I heard a whistle. We've
Yeah.
got a hurricane coming.
Yeah.
Hands down. It's like,
Pays attention to the groundhog during Groundhog Day. And it's like, oh my God.
it's not whether it comes out or not. It's whether it blinks.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. But like, yeah, no, fake and satirical kind of weather. And I'm sure that it's even been done. It might even still be a thing. But yeah, make your own like news station.
Yeah.
It's kind of a joke. I think Goodwin, at his college, they had one that was legit. You could call in. I think Rob called in a few times
Oh yeah.
and would pretend to
Oh,
be
yeah, yeah.
different characters because they had call-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was excellent because it was candid of the kids that were running it and being like the news. What I'm forgetting like all of the titles, but like the broadcasters, the talking heads, right?
Mhm.
So they don't know what they're getting when they get a call in, and they're trying to be this news station. And so Rob just really freaked them out. Like he would break character and go into a different character. Oh, it was excellent. It was really, really good. And it was a good example. And, you know, so colleges are also doing it and tons of people are still doing it, but it's like, I really don't see it too often. And there are some great skits that I see on, SNL had Weekend Update.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So that's kind of getting close to like what we're talking about with this like false, you know what I mean? Even though that news I think was relevant.
Yeah, it was
Um,
more like topical kind of,
right.
right?
But I like the idea of like local
It'd be funny
kind
if
of
like
real news, you know?
Yeah.
it'd be funny if like the sports section, if they like treated like pee-wee football like it was like the NFL.
Yeah.
You know, like the little like pee-wee football is like the little guys, right? The real little.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Mhm.
You know, like 3rd and 4th graders, right? Like that.
Yeah, even younger.
It would
I
be
think, yeah.
hilarious if it was like, you know, we really
Mhm.
got into them and like, you know, really, really promoted the pee-wee
Yeah.
football
yeah.
leagues.
Yeah.
Like they were like the greatest thing ever. Yeah. Like that was our team, you know.
Mhm.
Oh, that'd be
Right.
great.
Yeah.
Play
yeah.
by play. You
Yeah.
know, it's just a bunch of kids like dropping the football and falling over and stuff. It's just funny.
That would be hilarious.
The kid's crying.
Yeah, kids crying, you know, like
Little Timmy is not happy
Yeah.
after that play.
Yeah.
Walking back. His mother's come to console him. I don't think we're going to see him for the rest of the game, folks.
Yeah.
Replacing him, yeah.
So good.
Yeah, there's all kinds of fun stuff. And I mean, and that also goes into kind of ideas for, I love some mockumentary
Mm.
is like one of my favorite styles.
Yeah.
Like, so newsroom mockumentary mixed with reality, like local reality, local like kind of news. That's cool. Like The Office is one of my favorite reality mockumentary kind of like shows, and it's done so well.
Mm.
You know, it's really done well. So, and then of course like other shows to follow, Held Up, like, and I've got my own opinion on others, but like the American shows, like half of NBC was all like handheld mockumentary style
Mhm.
after that was done.
After The Office, yeah.
But it's
Mhm.
still a really good
Format.
platform and format. It's really like corporate television format. Like
They
a
don't
lot
do
of
it anymore though, huh? Like
no,
I
you
feel-
still see it. You
You
still
do?
see it's a really high production value handheld.
Okay.
It's become a formula. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's become a formula kind of style of filming. And maybe it's simply just handheld, but at the same time there's, the weird thing to me is some of these shows don't ever break that fourth wall. So it's like, why is it in this documentary kind of format, but
People
there's
just got
no
used to
interviewing or
viewing-
anything, right?
People just got used to viewing it that way. and so
Exactly.
they're just like, if we do this camera style, then people will pay attention.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But still, at the same time, it's such a simple idea. The Office. Just like, what would it be if you just filmed an office with, like, at least in the British version, somewhat eccentric characters? Like, nobody was really outlandishly eccentric except the boss, and even he was like, it was cringy, to say the least. That's all that was eccentric. But you've met people just like that, and so the reality part of it all, I think, is really important. And we've got that, especially with the news. It can be honest reactions to, like I said, a call in or anything like that. And that's fun stuff. So yeah, we've kind of moved on from, or we haven't moved on, but we've moved into talking about fun things you can do with YouTube channels. And one that we're sticking with is, or at least that we found, or velcroed us a little bit, is the idea of like local. I'm just for those who are tuning in, local news station type mockumentary. That's kind of where we're at. Right now.
I mean, you could essentially start like a whole network.
I love that idea.
You could start like, like a modern day like MTV or Comedy Central if you wanted to. I'm surprised that there's not like,
and there's
not a lot of that.
There might be. I don't know. I just thought like you could name the channel like Local News, but it's spelled KN.
News.
Yeah.
Oh, I had the idea for that.
Oh, is that really? Is that where that seed came from?
Remember I was telling you about and I had the drawing of it.
Does it say Local News?
It was just news, but it was KNEWS.
Oh, cool. Okay,
news.
maybe that's where I got that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where that seed was. Yeah. But something like that, like I don't know. We're kind of obsessed with puns too. So yeah, if anybody has any good pun ideas or just any kind of pun, please put it in, because I love puns. Yeah, so I missed Shelby saying something else with What's Up Warren. He's the Warren Knight.
Yeah.
Warren Knight.
That's his name.
The Warren Knight.
Warren Knight. Okay, all right. And I did hear you say that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. I do love the idea of just these like very niche channels that are doing things that are just so, like, I have a few that I watched. One of them is that I mean, I feel like I've talked to you guys about this all the time. I think it's called 11'8", but it's just this guy that films this bridge on this road that's 11'8", and trucks crash into it all the time. And there's just hours and hours of footage of, trucks crashing into this bridge, which is just hilarious and so entertaining. And then like there's this other one I watch, and it's just compilations of people passing out on roller coasters.
Oh yeah.
And they'll just like scream and then just be like, and they're just but like it's really fun to like, you just wonder what you could find on YouTube if you just like really dig for like really niche stuff, and what ideas you could come up with to like create something that's just it's quirky, it's different, but it's interesting. In the same way, like there's not too many people that wouldn't watch something like that. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be intrigued by something like that. I feel like there's like watching the eagles hatch on live stream. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. They also have the
osprey
nests.
Yeah.
That's a channel.
That's
like
awesome.
Locally. Yeah, that's right. The eagles hatch. I remember watching that.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember having that on in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. Just cool stuff like that. That is, it still has potential for growth.
Yeah.
Like all of those things would be interesting to people.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, it's the YouTube algorithms are not going to pick it up and promote it. Yeah.
Ring camera videos are also very cool. Videos catching
nightlight awkward situations.
Yeah. Definitely. So, there's all kinds of stuff. That's true. And I wonder, so that's something that made me think you could have some kind of contribution. Like if someone has a video that they caught locally, or they did something to check locally or whatever, their own investigation of something, they could send it.
Just their Ring camera of some weirdo, like knocking on their door or something weird.
Yeah.
Or what if we had like a phone booth like right outside the studio, and it was like complaints about your town here, and it's just a Ring camera.
That would be a
and
great idea.
And it says on it like this is a live feed to a channel.
Oh my
and
gosh.
just place your
that would be
complaints here.
genius.
And we just have the open place your complaints about local.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I think the only issue would be like some people would go off and like just start spewing, like
propaganda
terrible
or
thing.
something, yeah.
Terrible
if you put a timer in it that has like,
it would have to be I think it would have to be curated, because if you watch like some of these like old new, like I watch
the
a lot
trolls will come.
of
Jamar said.
if you watch
Yeah.
a lot of these old New York like hotlines, like the stuff that they're spewing sometimes.
Oh,
is
it's
like,
bad stuff. That's
my
true.
God.
The
Like,
trolls
you,
will
you
come.
can't
right?
let that, because that will immediately get flagged.
Too bad there isn't like a censor you could put that like
You
if
you would
somebody
need
starts-
to curate them and play them later. You would just
Yeah.
have to. Yeah, there couldn't be a live feed, because it would just not be good.
Right.
It just
Mm.
wouldn't be good. It would get you banned from YouTube after like a week, because
5 minutes.
they're big on that. I think if you get like that's the scary thing about YouTube. The scary thing about like committing to a YouTube channel
Yeah.
is if you get 3 strikes on your account, you're banned forever.
Right.
So like, and it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. You could have been doing it for
Mhm.
10 years and have like 10 million followers.
Mhm.
If you get 3 strikes and they count them as legitimate strikes for whatever reason,
You're done.
you're done.
Wow.
It's gone. They delete everything. So like, that's the scary part of using YouTube as like your outlet. Which is kind of sad. It's in a way it can be good, but in a way it can be sad if you have certain artistic content that is maybe a bit unsavory to some people, and some people like it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I think you should be able to express that
Sure.
in whatever way. But I think the problem is like YouTube's not going to want that, and ultimately like YouTube is not like a public service. It's not. It is a company that owns the platform that can curate it in really whatever way they want, which
Right.
is, it has its good sides, you know what I mean, but then it has its bad sides as well.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And anything like, its good sides would be like, and anything that comes that's like any sort of racist things or anything like that, like nobody wants that. Nobody, you know what I mean? But then you have some people's art that is maybe a bit provocative, but that stuff will also get banned, and it's even if it's like some sort of expression, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where do you draw those lines, right? Of censorship.
Like how do you decide? But ultimately, the problem is you're creating you're putting a lot of work and a lot of effort into a platform or an outlet that is not in your control.
Mm.
Right.
And it's at the discretion of whoever's on the other end of it. Whoever gets assigned to looking into that is the ultimate. So it's on their, behest.
Right.
Yeah.
So that could be scary.
Yeah. It creates bias.
Yep.
Jamar said, yep,
Yep.
totally.
So like, and it's too bad because like in another way, like you could do a website, right? And you could do essentially whatever you want on a website, but it won't ever have the sort of traction. You know,
Well, yeah.
It can never gain the only traction you'll have is what you specifically promote. And there's no easy way to watch content on a regular website.
Especially if it doesn't have nowadays the embedded, people have embedded right to their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's so easy, or Vimeo or anything else.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the backing of those embeds and you plan on doing it all yourself, it's first off a lot of work.
Mm.
And it's kind of creepy. Like unless it is like a certain art form that is being like overly censored, or algorithms don't understand it, whatever, that I get. But like when it comes to propaganda or anything like that,
there's certain things
eerie
that
propaganda.
it just shouldn't be tolerated. I get it, but it's going to come down to one person's decision, which is ultimately going to just be their own personal bias, like Jamar says.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think you can be smart with it, especially. I mean, if we go back to the community-based local news thing, like
mhm.
if you're smart with it, you know what's like if you're questioning almost. If you're like, I think this might be, and then you couldn't, and then that's an interesting decision too. Maybe there is something, and you're like, this might get flagged, or even this is a little bit controversial.
Hmm.
If you want a non-biased kind of news station where there is almost no, especially if it's local and there's no political, like you can even leave anything political out. It could be even
Oh, I doubt we would. I mean,
BS, unless it's
the
BS
whole
political
concept,
stuff, like
yeah.
you know, like
I feel like the
fake
whole
political.
concept of this
Yeah.
would be to find things that aren't really an issue,
like they
but
said, a
are
grass patch
hilarious
that's not
to
getting
make an
cut.
issue.
Yeah. There's always
Yeah.
dog shit at this post box. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There are no payphones in this town. Things like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. What are the rules for a public access? First
You mean
off,
like a station?
First off, like, can you create your own TV station? Like, how the hell does that work?
Or you
Well,
mean to get a channel?
Yeah.
Well,
to
you
get
have
a
to
channel.
you have to go to we have to buy it. It's probably like radio.
Mhm.
You buy it.
You might have to buy rights to that channel. Yeah. Or to just get that channel
To use that frequency.
or oh, Jamar said something good. What is too much censoring? Sometimes we need information to see the truth, right?
Mm.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's where you know it gets hairy, and I think I think that's where satire comes into play.
Yeah.
Like a good workaround of if it's something that needs to be said and it is the truth. A lot of times in art and in broadcast and in all kinds of forms, satire is used, you know, to make a point.
Yeah.
Oh, you can rent cable channels.
Yeah, and
you can
Jamar
rent
said
cable channels.
You can
What
create
is there
your own
like a
TV
cost
station.
to that? Like, what's the price?
I mean, like we'd go to local full channel.
Like,
I
yeah.
remember that's at least where public access.
That's where public access comes from.
At least back in the day of click through
Sure.
channels.
So let me ask you,
analog.
if like you went to full channel, with like we want our own.
We want channel 45.
We
Well,
want
what's the
channel
syndicate that
0.02.
owns that? What's the syndicate that owns that broadcasting frequency? You know what I mean? So you have to go up. It goes up. So
Yeah, but aren't there ones kind of like how you would do a radio station? Aren't there ones that are just static that aren't being transmitted whatsoever? That
Yeah, I
you
mean,
can
I'd
get
go to
on?
channel 24. Nothing's going on there.
That's
You
what
know
I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
aren't
right.
there channels that don't have anything?
I think that might be more local. I think that's and then the bigger the reach, you know what I mean? Because let's say in Rhode Island, channel 6, at least for me, was always ABC. So
Yeah,
channel 12 was always CBS,
Right.
right? So 64 was
But what are the
Fox.
other ones that don't show up?
Exactly. What about 50? Well, 55 would show up. But it was just static. Nothing was going on.
That's what I
there.
mean. Like,
Yeah.
Broadcasting with
With
ham
ham
license.
license. Whoa. So ham radio, right? That's interesting, and that brings up a whole other topic. Ham radio, like
That's all radio, though.
yeah, exactly. We have an idea. That's I think next week's topic potentially is
Yeah,
pirate
radio. Yeah. But TV.
Yeah,
I wanna
right,
know,
right.
Like, can we get our hands on our
Broadcasting
own
with ham
station?
license.
Apparently, so under federal law, any cable operator that maintains at least 36 channel must reserve a group of channels for leased access.
Whoa.
Okay.
You can rent one of these channels for a monthly price that's determined largely by the number of subscribers and channels. The larger the company, the more you will pay. But it
we're a pretty
doesn't-
small company.
But it doesn't give you.
What if it was like $17.99?
Right?
Really? Because fuck YouTube, man. I'm doing that.
No offense, YouTube.
No offense.
That's all you need.
you.
Just
Yeah, no.
ham license to access parts of Spectrum.
Oh,
Interesting.
interesting.
Cool. Yeah, I and the only the only information I know of it is from a Simpsons episode when Homer is Mr. Plow, and they want to buy radio time. Oh wait, no, you know what? The one I'm thinking of is the one where Homer, they try to buy some radio time, and yeah, from the local public access station. So you can also rent hours at like that out of a public access that's already owns the channel.
Sure.
You know?
And so my thinking with that is like, if you go through, let's say you go through Full Channel and you go through their public access channel, ultimately, aren't they basically what YouTube is to content creators, in the sense that like, oh no, you can't have this, you can't have that, you can't have swearing, you can't, you know, are they that? Or are they, I doubt it's like a free for all.
I mean, well, yeah, right. And I think it used to be, because you used to, those call-in shows, those were all late at night public access,
Yeah.
like in New York and in cities mainly. So I bet it was cheaper, and yeah, I bet it was cheaper, and it was more available, you know, more readily available, especially, you know, with cable being what it was, or just public access, I think was on the bunny ears, you know.
Yeah, right.
So I think it might have
What was?
public access,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it's open to everyone nowadays. I don't know, excuse me, how much traction that would get, just because everybody's watching. Again, that brings you back to YouTube. Like, the most popular YouTube is kind of the
Sure, but I would like, when I think of like a local, when I think of like a local news thing, I think like, yeah, but if your niche market, if you like your target market is so niche that it's in one town or in a couple towns, then are you trying, like, it would go over the heads of people in New York City about what's going on in Warren.
Well, they wouldn't be able to access it, right?
If you went public access, but I'm saying if you were to like use YouTube as your outlet.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You know, it's not
Well,
going to be
that's
of
the
general
idea of the
interest to
networking, though.
people.
That's the idea that you said of the networking. Like,
Right.
so if New York doesn't, but if you have a syndicate in New York,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And they and you work with people there or whatever, or they just like upload you videos and you're like, oh yeah, nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or can you get sub channels or playlists even, you know what I mean? Of different, like we said, it could be cities, it could be regional, it could be anything, it could be small town, and so you could have and yeah, it'll only really like benefit that
a
town,
very small collection of people.
But you have it all over, and then eventually, if it's the same format and it's good and it's pretty consistent and the quality's pretty good, you will end up watching other towns.
Yeah,
like
right.
It might be funny to see Kaylee making a huge stink about that patch of grass that's never cut. It's not a huge deal. You just walk around it, but she's making a deal. She's, you're making, and then other people in the town will see it. And if it's well done and if it's funny, and maybe that's just one of them,
There's a thing called PEG, Rhode Island TV. It's Public Education and Government. They call themselves the authorities. And it says the authority believes that public education and governmental access television are all about creating community programming with few or no barriers to the producer. We will provide you with the equipment, the training, the studio space, the airtime, and the support staff to help you make your own program at no cost.
Well,
that sounds great.
The few limitations that do exist are set by state and federal law and your own imagination and ambition. Public access in television in Rhode Island is television that you make. That's pretty cool.
That is neat.
Well, I would imagine, like, are some of those guidelines like swearing? Are some of those guidelines like
maybe some of them aren't far off from I think there's FCC regulations too.
Probably.
Yeah.
No matter where you go, you're gonna have to follow
something. Yeah,
maybe outside of a website, you have to follow
something. But Jamar wrote a really good thing. So he said you could probably just make a website program or install video streaming software. That would be a way to get out of YouTube rules. The the website would be home base for the streaming of the local news.
Mm.
And then, oops, sorry, Kaylee. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean
Or
to
an
scare you.
app.
An
I guess
app.
you can do
You
an
could
app.
you
That's
could create
probably a
an
good
app.
way to do a
Yep.
network.
That'd be nuts. That'd be
You know?
wild. That'd be
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
Connecting that. Yeah. Yeah, and website would be home base for the streaming local news. Yeah, and you can still put the tendrils for the website out on Instagram, whatever else.
I can see an app being really cool because you could like click into whatever cities you wanted. Like if you
Yeah.
talking about like sort of a syndicate, like all basically all
News clips.
independent, like kind of funny news clips, people coming up with ideas for news for local areas, but you could like click into whatever ones you wanted, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's kind of cool.
that would be
cool.
great.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's quite a few different things you can do. We could even look, and I still remember quite well, because where I went to school, it was all corporate video. We learned a lot about video and production studio and all that good stuff, but it was all news, corporate, and like talk show style stuff, and radio and broadcast. So we could probably like Justin says, reminds me of Citizen Journalist app. WPRI did a while back. Oh, we should look that up.
That's interesting.
Yeah, totally.
Citizen journalist. So just your average. Was it a video format or was it a
audio
article format or audio? Like what kind of format was that?
Yeah, I wonder if it's and see, the thing I like about that too, about something like a call-in, is there's in most broadcast there is no necessarily back and forth. You know what I mean? So you don't get this kind of banter or bickering that occurs. And I'm curious, the Citizen Journalist app, let's see, people would submit various formats, video, text, audio.
Oh, interesting.
Cool. Did a while back. I wonder why they don't do it anymore. And maybe, was there some kind of...
Well, I would imagine that it probably just wasn't targeting the right market. I mean, I feel like generally the people that are watching like the news it tends to be more of an old-timey thing. Like, I mean, how often are you guys watching the news?
Well, if I were to watch TV, I'd that's probably all I would watch.
Like local news.
Local and
I watch my dad, but
yeah, like right? Sunday 60 Minutes or like local,
sure.
Something like that.
But like if you created it more geared towards like a younger audience, like this sort of new format of, I can see people maybe really taking part in it.
Well, and I think if you can stay within YouTube limits, I think it is one of the best ways to and easiest ways to send or like connect things to it. I mean,
there's just so many people in there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so if you're finding these limitations all over the place, and there is a good workaround, at least philosophically, with some kind of satire and writing and the use of art, I think that's where you could. That's at least where to start.
And I have to imagine YouTube's rules are probably more lenient than something that is on public TV.
I mean, that's the thing. And then
you can swear on YouTube.
Right, you sure
it's fine.
You damn well sure can.
Yeah. You can have somewhat provocative stuff.
Yeah,
I think.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what the deal is with like any sort of like nudity on YouTube or anything like that.
Well, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I think as long as it doesn't look pornographic, otherwise there would be like a warning, like this show, because we curse.
Yeah.
I said this is not suitable for children.
So probably YouTube has the most.
But the algorithm will catch it.
Oh yeah.
The algorithm will see.
Yeah, you can't rely on any sort of algorithm.
Whatever, and it'll look at it, and maybe, I don't know whether the algorithm can say like whether this is inappropriate nudity, like pornographic, or art based.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm sure I've seen nudity in either art pieces or
that's my point I'm making. Like, some people would have. I mean, I doubt that would be part of our news thing here that we're talking about. But some people have art that is has certain things that are I guess, a bit outside the realm of acceptable, public viewing. I
Yeah,
guess. And
absolutely.
I guess where does YouTube draw the line on that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Well-
I guess ultimately you can't have it completely ruleless, because you're going to end up, with some things that are just disgusting. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah,
You know
sure.
what I mean?
But I mean, yeah, I do. I know exactly. what you mean.
Tasteless stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
As far as,
Oh, surely.
as opposed to tasteful stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there's a bunch you can do of that. I really think like we should at least write out a treatment for the local,
I love the idea.
and
Mhm.
if
And
we
I've
start
thought
small,
it's funny that as soon as you brought that up, I was like, oh, I've had a similar thought with like these. I just envisioned these news anchors just like bickering back and forth, or like one of the anchors like being hung over, or like, like, and then like trying to talk to like the weather guy, and like, I don't
Mhm.
know, like I've had a very similar thought, and I just thought it was.
and that's even writing. That's going in the direction of writing a script for a The Office style, but it's a news
It
broadcast.
can be it can be a conglomerate,
That'd
right?
be excellent.
Of like
And the stories are true.
all different
Mhm.
Yeah.
segments. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I really do like that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll hit a treatment. I think this is really something we should at least attempt,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
like I said, we have everything we need for it. Or like we've been discussing, we have everything we need.
We should make like, we'll get the camera we're going to use, or
Yeah.
like the cameras we're going to use, but then maybe we can make like a body for them, like a fake that makes them like something like
Look way
that.
bigger. Gee. Yeah.
Like we'll show up with that, with the camera
Yeah.
inside of it.
What,
Just put it in like a
John's
cardboard box
pointing
or
at is
something
a
to make
huge
it look like
spotlight.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
right.
But just something that draws so much attention on people looking over, like what is going on?
Mhm.
Like flashers and LEDs and stuff, and just covering like
Yeah.
some dog taking a shit somewhere and then not cleaning it up.
Yeah. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do. Well, that's cool. How are we looking at time? Bat signal. I like that.
There you go. Yep.
Mm.
That would be rad.
Well, I mean, there's
We do
something.
have the bat signal.
If ever we got
I
our
do have a
hands,
bat signal. Yeah.
if ever we could figure out how to get up in that tower, because we have, I don't know, is it the tallest building in Warren?
It's one of them.
I think,
Yeah.
We're in like one of the tallest buildings in Warren, if not the tallest building, and it has a peak on it that looks like, I don't know, maybe a 20 by 20 room. That
Mhm.
is, it looks like it's like just one bedroom at the peak. And like, if you could and it has a deck, but you could probably shoot off some sort of bat signal.
I wonder if that's illegal.
yeah.
Like, and Jamar actually might know this. Like, can I put a bat signal into the clouds? Because I know it's illegal to point
like an
to
aircraft.
point
lights.
laser lights or anything like that, or high powered flashlights
At like an aircraft.
at like an aircraft, right? And also, though we could to one thing, you could say it's just simply a signal, like it's a high enough tower maybe where it's just a precautionary kind of thing. But
I
I'm
mean, all the
sure-
time I see like, I'm trying to think of, I've seen like open football stadiums with lighting.
yeah,
displays,
you're right.
And those lights, you can
Factory of Terror
see-
had something
you can-
like that.
Yeah,
in
you
Fall
can
River.
see them for
yeah.
miles.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Way up in the sky. So I wonder, I don't know if they have to clear. Maybe they clear that with traffic control or something like that.
Yeah.
Air traffic control.
Could they find where it's coming from? You know what I mean? If you put,
Yeah, you can see with a whole beam. You can see.
yeah,
the whole
you would
beam
be
come
able to see
down,
the
but I
beam.
mean,
Yeah.
You probably. I mean, I don't know if you could see them from outer space, but you can fucking see them way high, even past the clouds. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like they're high.
Yeah, right.
They have high powered beams going up there.
Yeah. Well, all kinds of things we can do. But I love that.
We
I
could
love
even
the
do
bat
like
signal.
a Ghostbusters car. We it would be great. It would be like.
I was thinking the Ninja
if
Turtles
we can get
van.
like, if we could get Baby Blue back.
Oh yeah,
throw some like sirens on top, like the
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Oh,
that would be awesome.
man.
Oh man, yeah, that sound is so cool.
We'd have to
too.
do like purple and green lights. I mean, we probably couldn't have lights at all, but maybe we could get away with like purple and green lights
Mhm.
because no law enforcement uses any of that.
I love the idea of like a kind of an old fashioned white van type, like, TV station rolling up. Maybe like the April O'Neil station from Ninja Turtles,
Channel
something like
6,
that. Yeah,
Channel 6 News.
yeah, something like that. That'd be really good.
Be great.
But yeah, no, there's a lot to do that we'd have to do for that at least. But you start with a treatment, and maybe we'll jot some ideas down for that. That'd be really cool.
I love that
and
idea.
we'll come back
Super
to it. So
into
that's a good idea. So that's an idea we'll come back to, I think. And we're thinking, this show even is still in development as to how we're kind of coming up with ideas either on the day of or soon there before. So if anybody has ideas, but that's when we'll return to is and we'll give ourselves some homework and see how far we've come with an idea and push forward with it. Maybe even talk through the ideas more here,
Yeah.
come up with discuss script, who knows. But yeah,
Our slogan could be like Steve Brule meets 60 Minutes.
yeah.
You know?
I was thinking like of a title, like at least for Warren would be like simply like what's going on. What's going on? Yeah, not even a question mark. Like what's going on? Like almost like saying hello, but it is a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I'll work on it.
Mm.
That's not that creative. Now I think about it.
We'll-
What's going
we'll put,
on?
when we put all three of our heads together.
Just simply like what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a question. You can put a question in parentheses. What is going on? Or what is going on in ... You name it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we'll discuss it.
How about
What?
what the fuck is this?
What
Warren.
the fuck is this?
What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Bristol.
Yeah. The fuck is this, Little Rock, Arkansas? Yeah. If
That
it
could be our
works.
slogan. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this?
Fuck's going on here? Yeah. Depending on where you are. Yeah. Yeah.
We could treat like a 60 minutes interview like it really like, hi, we're 60 minutes. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. What the fuck is going on?
What the fuck is this?
Leaving the folks of Warren asking, what the fuck is going on?
There you go.
Yeah.
I love that. That's perfect. That's what it is. What the fuck is going on?
Bongs.
Bongs.
Yeah. That would be the
What
first
is a
story.
bong?
That actually is a story I want to know. What happened to the bong sign
I know.
downtown Warren?
It's not.
Mhm.
It's
Is that a bad?
now it's legal, so it's not cool anymore.
No, I know, but like, why take it down though? Like, why take down this beautiful, glowing neon sign? And I'm not a huge bong guy. I mean, I'm fine with things, but it's just so hilarious to have such a big
It's
sign.
a funny word too.
Down.
Isn't
It is a funny
Yeah.
word, like
Great
bong.
word. I wonder where that comes from.
Mm.
Like,
Bong.
Bong.
I don't know. It's I mean, we're talking a whole other episode here.
Yeah, we're going off the rails here.
And how are we with time?
It originated from the Thai word "boang,"
Boing.
which it means bamboo bongs.
Bamboo bongs.
Oh no, wait. Yeah, bamboo bongs, which were common in Central Asia.
Well, cool.
We're at
That's a cool name. Bamboo bongs.
It's okay.
It flows.
Especially if you're selling bamboo bongs. Yeah. It does kind of flow,
Bamboo
but
bongs radio. Bamboo bongs TV.
It sounds like it sounds like a nickname for like an uncle.
Bamboo bongs TV.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like 55 minutes.
55 minutes.
All right, kids.
Well, I think we'll
Let's
call it. We've got a lot of great ideas, and thanks everybody for pitching in and talking to us about stuff and listening too. It's a fun one. I think next week we are getting closer to Halloween, and I mentioned in almost every one that our paranormal episode was the most popular. So maybe we could try to find something to
We'll figure
hop into
something
that,
out.
get a little spooky as we get closer to Halloween.
I've been doing a lot of Salem shows, so
Yeah.
you
Oh
guys can
man.
give me some assignments to run around and check out all the witch hangings and all those buildings.
Oh,
and
man,
right in the
that-
middle of them.
Interesting stuff. Really cool stuff. So yeah, maybe we can,
Houdini Way.
yeah.
right on Houdini Way.
Oh man! All
He
right. Well,
escaped from prison there.
you're getting me all excited. We'll we'll make sure next week will be a fun one. And we'll be getting and this week was fun. And we had it was great ideas. So next week, yeah, we'll do something fun. But if anybody has ideas, let us know.
Mhm.
And thanks again.
All right, kids, later.
Bye.
Hanging out, just another night of the week. Or to be more specific, it's a Tuesday Eve. Got some ideas that just might intrigue. You should come on by tonight. We're spilling the beans.